Welcome, everyone. I'm Ivy Rivera. I'm a psychic medium, a Taino Airwalk, and this is the Unbound Sage, where you drop a $10 donation and I deliver out to you whatever is the most important message for you to hear right now. I don't know where this message is going to come from. Maybe the universe, maybe my psychic ability, maybe I'm getting it empathically from your higher mind. Maybe it's coming from a spirit who's keeping an eye on you. Whatever it is, I ask that you have an open heart and an open mind. And again, I have set the tone here. I am asking that whatever message comes through is the most important thing for you to hear at this time. So if you have another agenda, you want to hear about the flavor of the month, you want to know what's going on with your money, you had something more specific you wanted to hear about, that's my other show. It's called Ask Ivy, and that's every other Wednesday. All right. So you could tune in for that. And you can ask a very specific question and get an exact answer. Now, if you don't want to wait for that, you can also book a reading for yourself on my website, Ivy Rivera Psychic Medium.com. And if you don't need a whole reading, you can just drop a 1-question email read. All right, so let's go ahead and get into it. I know we did have a bunch of early donations that came in. So your name is going to pop up on the screen here, and that means that you're next. If you can't see that wherever you're tuning in, go over to YouTube at Ask Ivy. It's also the best way to support me. Real quick before we begin, could everyone please drop a comment of any kind, maybe a heart, or if you could let me know where you're tuning in from. I'm always very curious. And could everyone please give this video a thumbs up and subscribe? Our first message is for Anne Marie Delora. Anne Marie Delora, what am I getting for you? I got coins coming in. Now, this is a really good symbol for your prosperity. And often I think of coins as being smaller than if I were to see actual bills. But in your case, this is not necessarily the truth. These coins sometimes hold dollar value or multiple dollar value. So I do see some bigger ones here. What does that mean? Well, that means that essentially something that is coming in toward you, even in the last couple days, it's been getting closer. I have 2 days. You may hear more about this, but I feel like for the upcoming 2 weeks, this will be unfolding for you. You're going to hear about an assortment of different prosperity points coming in. And it's not that the small coins are less valuable than the bigger ones. What it means essentially is that some of this prosperity coming in is going to be long term and some of it is going to be short. All of it enjoyable, all of it something that you earned, all of it a karmic payout and blessings from you being, I'm hearing from I want to say your guides, I'm hearing from God energy watching over you, whatever your belief is in God, diligent. She has been diligent. So what you've been doing here essentially is being unwilling to give up, being stubborn, using your will, using your free will to stay motivated, to stay more balanced. I'm even seeing from what feels like a dad type energy who keeps an eye on you. Being healthier with your choices. So if in the last year and a half, or 2 years, but I want to say 6 months in particular, you've gotten more strict on yourself saying, I have to be disciplined. I have to get rid of these bad habits. It's not good for my health. It's not good for my energy level. Therefore, it's not good for my mental health. Therefore, I'm not able to manifest and utilize law of attraction and all these other things. It's like you're taking ownership is the best way I can. Ezzy, please. She's going to knock over all the cameras. I think that what's happening here is that it's a period of reaping what you've sown, and you should be paying attention to it, and you shouldn't be dismissing anything. Okay. I don't care if you get a free meal or red lights are turning green, and you're getting more money coming in, but you're like, oh, well, I was already up for that. Don't dismiss all of this and just keep soldiering on. It's important that we stop and have an attitude of gratitude, not just for the universe for giving us our payout, but to yourself. You've done well, okay? And these blessings are arriving. All right, moving on to Maraid. Maraid, what do I have for you, Maraid? I have a feather going in the right side of your hair. This is my symbol for leadership. It's not going down, though. It's going up. So I feel like you're potentially, okay, anything going up in my readings is free will zone. Is it happening? Is it not happening? Do you want it to happen? What are you going to do about it? It's an opportunity. It isn't a guarantee. Now, whenever we see the feather, though, on the right side of the head, what we're talking about here is a leadership opportunity where you're going to use a lot of your skills that have been buried, skills that have not been seen or recognized, even when you did put them out there. And for you, a lot of it is going to come through communication and I want to say organization. And I'm also hearing implementation. So take that how it resonates as it unfolds. It'll be unfolding for about 2 months, and then you'll be able to ride it out for about five months. And then there will be a change with the circumstance between the 5th and the 7th month, where you'll be sort of building and creating something new, tweaking it a little bit, expanding out upon it. You can come up here, but you can't scream the whole time. Yes. So all of that is going on. I do think that I got to give her some catnip. Yummy. I think that the other thing you're doing here is, again, using these skills that haven't either been utilized or they've been buried or they did come out, but like no one saw it. That can lead to a lot of frustration. And I think that what you're doing for the upcoming 3 months or so is taking responsibility. This is the recommendation. You take responsibility, you hold yourself accountable for times in the past when you should have done more. Maybe you should have put yourself out there more on a larger scale, on a more regular basis. But now that you are really reaping the benefits, the fruits of your labor. And I think that being seen and being heard is becoming such a big deal because you showed consistency to the universe. You said, I am serious. It's not enough to have the goods. It's not enough to have a skill or even a gift. It requires discipline and integrity and character development, consistency. And when we show up with these things, that's really where the payout comes from, because the world is full of people who have gifts. Everyone who came to Earth has gifts. Do they really use it? And it required a lot of character development. So you're really looking completely different this year, than you did last year with these benefits. And I think it's about to get pretty noticeable for you. Very exciting. We have Edgar up next. Edgar, what do I have for you, Edgar? I want to say that you're talking, but your like words are falling into the ground. This gives me almost a sense of maybe feeling like you're talking and doing a lot and using your communication skills or the actions that you're taking, because there are many, many ways to communicate. It's about our body language. It's about what we don't say. It's about what we entertain. It's about what we think about. There are a million ways that the universe is like grading and judging and watching and, blessing us based on our communication. So you may be feeling as though you've been putting out a lot of right action in your communication, but it's falling down like into the earth or on deaf ears. You may be waiting for a harvest to grow. It's almost like I'm looking down at the dirt and I'm like, okay, I put that seed in there like 4 months ago. Like, the weather is good. I water it every day. Like, what more can I do? Like, what do you want out of me? Blood, So there's almost this attitude of like, why isn't this growing? So you may come to a halt. There's talk of the next like 48 hours. This may have just happened. Maybe we're going back even a few hours here, but you're right at this point where you're like, this situation isn't doing anything. Maybe it was a bad seed, or maybe it just won't ever grow. I think that it's an important time to understand almost like a new level, new devil idea. Whenever we're about to level up or we're about to see a turnout for our efforts, we tend to be tested most in those moments. We tend to have blocks and obstacles even come up, or potential worry or drama that could derail us from receiving all of the benefits that it's time to take advantage of. You know, um, it's finally here. And so what you want to do is just hold steady. I do feel like this is a period of time for you, though, to kind of pull back a little bit. You know, so it's like, yes, do what you're supposed to do. But you can also rest assured your payouts are coming, you know, but maybe take more of your attention off of all of your efforts and all of your communication and put it back onto you, your healing, your rest. Treat your time right now like it's sacred, just you being with you. You can take your attention off of it a little bit, okay? But it is coming. Don't let yourself get frustrated this week. Eric Evans is next. If you guys are hearing growls, it's not even the cat. It's literally my stomach. I was explaining at the beginning of the show. I'm on a 24-hour fast that I'm allowed to break at midnight. So my stomach is crazy loud right now. Eric Evans, what am I getting for you? I feel like there's a situation. You don't really know how to move forward. You don't really know how to move back. I'm hearing Jerry Garcia. The wheel keeps turning. You can't hold on. You can't let go. It doesn't stop. You know, what? And you're just kind of like, what am I even supposed to do with this? And that's where you are currently. Like, what am I supposed to do with this? So going forward, bit of a loss. Looking backward, bit of a loss. Currently, preparing is where you are to say something. You have someone you want to say something to. I do feel like this could potentially be a romantic partner, but it may not be right now. Like maybe you guys are on a break or this person has shut you out. There seems to be some level of confusion about what happened with this individual. There seems to be this almost blame coming from this individual toward you, an accusation that you ghosted, not in the literal ghosty sense of I'm here and then I'm gone, but in the way that you were consistent with your clear communication and then stopped. Almost like stopped being affectionate, stopped being clear, stopped communicating as regularly as you were. Now, maybe you don't see it that way. That's how that person sees it, is all what I'm saying. And a lot of that happened through text or something online, like pushing of buttons. Okay. So that's how a lot of that went down. I think that with it being right here, which is your future, but not your destiny charted future, your free will future. So they have free will, you have free will. I can't give a 100% guarantee on anything when there's this many hands in the pot involved. Thank you for the hearts on TikTok. But I think your best approach is to have an open dialogue. If you want some closure or you want to progress forward with this person, it is going to require, because the blame game is going at you right now. The finger's being pointed at you right now. So whether you feel like that's valid or not, it is going to require that you step forward and you say, I want everything put out on the table. You know, where's your head? What are your thoughts? What are your feelings? What do you want or what do you need? You know, you are going to open up that dialogue, and then it requires active listening. So put the ego down, because that's kind of what got us here in the first place, is that both people have their backs up a bit. And so that's fear, manipulation, and control, and instead come from a place of what is the most loving. The most loving at this time for myself and the other is to be an active listener and to really receive, and then be 100% authentic about what I'm capable of giving. CJG is up next. CJG, what do I have for you? I have you saying a whole heck of a lot. And this can mean that you have had a tendency to overreach, to overgive, to enable, to assist beyond what you should, to get out of your lane. I heard she forgot she's Dorothy on the yellow brick road. You may have felt like you were running ragged, like barefoot on the yellow brick road, you know, for you, like, what happened to your shoes? Now, in that movie, you know, her shoes held all the power. She didn't need some little wizard who wasn't even a wizard at all. She didn't need all this help. She didn't need this network at all. She literally had the power the entire time. And it was like she had forgotten it. So this story is going a little haywire here, I feel like, but I'll get there, I'm sure. Maybe. Hopefully. So, the idea here is that you have woken up, right? It's like the scene in The Wizard of Oz where she's sleeping in the flowers and she kind of went into this coma almost. It's like you woke up, you're not barefoot anymore, the shoes are on your feet, you are ready to go, you are ready to launch, but you have to abandon that old way of over giving, over communicating, overreaching, getting out of your lane. You are realizing that you aren't just stopping the behavior, which is hard enough, but you are having to maintain it, which is even harder. And then the hardest thing is dealing with the grief. The fact that that's a part of you, that was a part of who you thought you were for so long. It may have even become a part of your identity or a part of your character. You may have rewarded yourself for being that very giving, generous, loving person. You may have gotten a lot of rewards for that in life, like people gravitated towards you, and now you're not going to see that anymore. You have to grieve when you change. We like to talk about how it's a level up and how it feels great. And once the payout is here, you'll feel amazing. You'll also feel a bit like trash also, right? Both are true simultaneously. So allow yourself to grieve what you're letting go of, which was sort of this beautiful childlike aspect of yourself that gave unconditional love to whoever needed it. And now you're realizing that unconditional love is something that happens in a parent to child dynamic. Any other relationship beyond that is a transactional love, rightfully so. Okay. I'm going to leave it at that. Okay. But you're doing a beautiful job and you're still beautiful. Even more so. Okay. Because now you're loving yourself and you've proper boundaries. Anna P is up next. Anna P, what am I getting for you, Anna P? You're getting handed a bouquet of what looks like wildflowers. I've got a lily in here. I've got a sunflower. I've got what looks like one of those really colorful daisies. I always wonder if they're being dyed, but they're still gorgeous, like a blue. All right, so we've got a blue daisy. We have a sunflower. We have a lily in a bouquet of wildflowers. So let's break this down. And the person handing it to you feels like a grandmother, a maternal energy, but also your higher mind, which is that elder part of yourself that is an accumulation of all of your past lives collectively and all the wisdom in the universe. Your higher mind always has all the answers that you need for anything, to anything that you're seeking clarity on. So when we look at these wildflowers being handed to you, first thing, it means that you're getting back in touch with, I don't know if I want to say your inner child. It just feels more like your personality, without society and adulting and the patriarchy and capitalism and all this junk added onto it. Your true personality under all of that is a wildflower. You like to flutter from thing to thing, person to person, conversation to conversation. You love intellectual stimulation, risk taking. You're coming up as the Fool in the tarot deck, okay? Which I don't know a ton about, but my understanding of the Fool is sort of like being willing to move forward in blind faith, not being so restricted and bogged down by the heaviness of life's responsibilities and things. So in general, that's the theme and the root sort of this message. The blue daisy is about self-empowerment. So you are going through a period right now where you need to pay more attention, okay, to your self-empowerment. Praise yourself for any moves you're making in your life to be more self-empowered. The sunflower is about your spiritual development, psychic, mediumistic, empathic abilities, all increasing. The lily can be the death of something but you're at peace with that. It can also be like marital opportunity coming in here, right? Something brand new, but it's ultimately something to celebrate, sort of an ending and a beginning. There you go. Okay. And a ton of love to you. We are going to move on to Yolanda. Yolanda, what do I have coming in here for you? You are saying something and you were like saying it with your chest. You know, you are really kind of putting your energy out there the last couple weeks. And I don't necessarily feel like this is happening with people you don't know. Take it out resonates. Maybe it is. It's probably happening across the board. But what I'm seeing is that you're doing it with people closer to you. So this could be people you work with. This could also be people who are reliant upon you. And even though you may feel like your employer, you know, is maybe your oppressor or your parent, the authority, they're relying upon you. These companies don't run. The government doesn't run. Nothing runs without us giving it its power. So it's almost like you need to twist the way you think about it. You know, you are coming at any work situations, again, you know, with your chest. I'm saying it with my chest. These are my boundaries. Stand on your own 2 feet. Don't come at me with this. Do it your own self. How is this even functioning? Who did or didn't do what they were supposed to do? I mean, all of it. Okay, all of it. I see you doing it again with other people who are in your vicinity who may need you for things. So this could be children, this could be family, you know, friends, whatever it is. I think that ultimately it's a period of time for you to assert yourself. This is a period where you're being seen for the power player that you are, but I don't think it's going to come cheap. I think that with this more clear, outspoken attitude you're utilizing, you're going to get a bit of a dopamine hit. You know, you're getting a rush from this, even in like a bit of an adrenaline rush, especially as you see your prosperity increase because of it. The universe waits for us to do this. The universe is watching to reward us every time we do this. And you may run with it and raise your price a bit and add tax going forward. Now I'm hearing the next 4 months, but I'm also seeing an increase for you at 7 months. So anything you're doing in communication, leadership, understanding your position of power, authority, and how people need you is the wave you want to be riding, okay, to get up to that next level as we go forward. People are like super impressed with you. Even if they're defensive, they are super impressed with you. There's a certain type of relief that people get when you walk in the room. It's like, okay, everything's going to be all right, you know, but people have to pay for that. They have to pay. You have to charge for that. Okay. Carrie is up next. Carrie, what do I have for you? So I have you in a position of potential movement, fluidity, self-empowerment, power going forward in the world. And you may also feel that you're very new at something. So it's kind of like, I'm not super confident about it. Maybe I am in a position of power, but it doesn't feel that way. Maybe I can move forward, but I feel pretty burnt out. You know, it's this dichotomy from top to tail, honestly. And I think this is an important time to remember that energy never lies. So if I'm giving you this message, if I'm giving you this reading, if the universe is reassuring you that you are in a good position of power, you just need to keep using it, forget your feelings. You know, there is a time to pay attention to our feelings. Our emotions, though, compared to our intuitive intelligence, are a low level intelligence. Okay. They really cannot compare at all. Our emotions often steer us wrong. And the more attention we give them, you know, the more they just take over and consume everything until your energy level is dropped. You're physically reacting to it, and the choices you make aren't great. It would be the opposite of movement forward. Okay. So be mindful that there's a time to address your emotions and there's a time to say, I'm not paying attention to this crap right now because it's dragging me down. Okay. I choose what I put my mind onto. Okay. I choose what emotions I feed or cut off. And so there is a maturity. You are being called forward to maturity here, but I think you're going to master this. I really do. I'm very, very confident you won't have to go around that mountain again. Okay. Because you already have like 6 times in this life. So big opportunities ahead if you drive toward them. You also have somebody coming back from your past who is like an accumulation of everything I just said. It's like a cultivation of all of these lessons. This person will drag you down. I feel like this is a romantic partner, or this is someone you felt obligated to at some time. There is past life connection here. I do wonder if this was a child in a previous life, but this person can sort of give you exactly what you need, whether it be an orgasm, whether it be an ego boost, whether it be a dopamine hit, whether it be fixing your car, whether it be, I mean, this person just knows how to give you exactly what you need. And it's hard when someone is delivering to that extent to say, no, thanks. I'm going this way, even though I don't feel great about it. And I'm not super confident right now. Okay. So you're a little bit in a pickle. Okay. But see it for the bigger picture and keep going. We have any more? Yolanda said, you made me smile. Thank you. You're welcome, Yolanda. Thank you always. And CJG said, oh, thank you, Ivy. I'm trying to stop giving. It's so hard because it's a part of me, but I understand it now. Thanks to your help. Yes. That's a beautiful thing, to give more love to you than you're, giving out to the world who isn't appreciating it too. You guys are awesome. We are up to Melissa S. So Melissa S., what do I have for you? Now, anyone tuning in late, this is the Unbound Sage, where you drop a $10 donation and I deliver out to you whatever is the most important message for you to hear right now. Diana, my beautiful producer, is posting on Instagram and TikTok in the comment section how you can drop your donation and get your message. Everywhere else, if you guys are tuning in on Facebook, you're tuning in on YouTube, it's right in the description above. Melissa S., what am I getting for you? There's a little stop and start going on with you. Start and stop, start and stop. The universe is not really giving you any answers right now. So if you've been asking questions, which way do I go? What do I do? What's coming up next? Is this the right path? The universe is like crickets. The universe is just not saying black or white, right or wrong, left or right, nothing, because you're in a free will zone. When you're in a free will zone, the universe says, what do you want to do? Where do you want to go? Do you think that's the right thing to do? And it can be frustrating. It can cause a start and stop effect in your life. And a lot of people do this. You are having this tendency right now to feel motivated toward things, and then you're stalling out because the universe didn't tell you 100% that you should, right? You want to be careful with that type of thing. It is not a period of time in your life where you should be doing an excessive amount of rest. Don't be complacent. Don't rest on your laurels. Don't assume that you have time. You have gone through a lot, especially the last 2 years, but you took a break. You took a breather. You caught up with your energy. And now it's a time to build going forward. What are you supposed to be building? That is entirely up to you, right? I'm not going to defy the universe in you being in a free will zone and like try to overdirect here, but well, that's hard for me. I do think that if we were to look at your life contract right now, okay, what you signed on to before you came to Earth, it will give you a little more clarity there. What you agreed to do before you came here was to be assisting other people and talking to other people. So whether this be in a therapeutic way, this be in a spiritual way, this be in a mentoring capacity, advocacy, this be about listening, just even active listening and then reflecting back to them what they just said they need. You could do this on social media. You could do this in a million different ways, but it is important that you are actively moving forward and making yourself essentially more available. Okay. Cause it's like, how do they find you? But you're starting, stopping. It's like, just push yourself. Just keep going. What is in motion stays in motion. What starts and stops could do that inevitably. Okay. Or stalling is right around the bend. So Diana, as soon as I say a name out loud, you're going to pop up the next name. So who do we have next? Thank you, Tanya. Okay, so you could pop up the next name. Tanya R. What do we have coming up for you? Tanya, I feel a little bit like your power outside is stalling. There is a feeling here of not being able, okay, or being hesitant about creating or launching or giving more priority to something in your schedule. This is about knowing that there's something you need to do. I'm hearing two things in particular. You do have a lady stepping through, mom's side of the family, a gentleman stepping through, feels more like dad, paternal energy coming in here, paternal energy, dad's side. Let's just say it that way. Both of them have been motivating you. Your dreams are like ridiculous with prophecy and symbology, and you're really kind of on fire lately, which is giving you a lot of direction as well. But I think that there is hesitancy on giving more priority, okay, in your life to these two areas that you know you need to grow. And you could also feel either a lack of support, or you could be looking at someone else in your life who has a close connection with you. This could even be like shared resources. And this person takes a lot, needs a lot, is something you must consider a lot. Someone you must consider a lot. And all of their things are things you have to consider a lot. And so it's sort of like you're looking at this, and I think you would prefer to have this as, maybe you don't like math at all, but like, I'd rather be taking a math test, and like, I would be able to figure that equation out easier than this. But I don't think that's true. I think that's what's really happening here is you're not focusing on it enough. So if you find yourself entering into a period of time in this next week or so, could it be a month and a half? Maybe it'll last that long. It depends on how you handle it and how these other circumstances play out. But instead of being like, I can't figure this out, or I'm feeling a level of frustration, or I feel a bit like I'm treading water, or how do I do this? I think it's just important for you to know that you are able to fit everything in exactly as it needs to go. You just may not feel entirely comfortable about those answers. You're not going to get comfortable answers with this. That I can assure you. This will bring, as most big change does with huge payouts, some level of discomfort. Okay. So rearranging things, cutting things off, pulling energy back may also need to happen here. Up next is Shauna D. Shauna D, what do I have for you? I have you excited about leaving something in the past that drained your energy. I heard turn your frown upside down, but you may have felt a bit like a sad clown. You may have been feeling in recent months, that you kind of got hit, even the last year to a year and 7 months. I kind of got hit with several things back to back, and there could have been some type of loss or disappointment here recently, even feeling like you were up for a promotion or you were supposed to get something. You thought something was going to work out differently than what it did. There's all this energy of, like, I want to leave that behind me. It's like, just forget it. Like, I don't even want to look back there. And I think that's the right approach, because we have to, as soon as we can, get up off the ground, brush ourselves off, and just eyes forward. Okay. And I think that's essentially what you're doing. So you seem to be excited about something new. Sometimes we take losses or hits or changes in our life, and it ends up being a blessing because you see things in a different way. A totally different perspective is sort of blooming and unfolding for you. I do see you getting on a path that is very lucrative. So I see you getting ready to sort of jump over. This could be a lateral move. You could think it's a lateral move, or it's presented to you as though it's a lateral move in terms of like your title or pay or what it's going to mean. This could also be affecting your residency or your workspace in a positive way. But it's a lot bigger than just a lateral move. I see you getting on what looks like a gold brick road. So it's almost like I'm walking on money. I'm walking on possibility. I mean, what are you going to do with a gold brick? Not a whole hell of a lot. You know what I mean? But can you cash it in? Like, what does this mean? Right? So there's deeper meaning to that. Like, how can I utilize this? How can I use it as leverage? How could I trade it in? Keep mentality in your life right now that you are looking for leverage, you are looking for level up opportunities, you are looking for investment opportunities. Nothing of what you're doing coming up here is about staying for the long term. It's about using it for an additional level up. This is an exciting time, and you're done with that rut, which is really nice. We are going to move on to Nicole W. Nicole, what am I getting for you? I have you drinking a glass of champagne. This is symbolic of, I just had a waiter like hand it to you at what looks like this beautiful ballroom. Very, I heard like black tie. I'm watching people sort of dancing around. It feels like a ball of some kind. And, this symbol of like people coming near you but not interacting with you. It reminds me a little bit of the Nutcracker, when on Christmas Eve, when she was watching and observing everything but not interacting a whole ton. It's this very enchanted feel, this dreamy state. So, I mean, maybe you're doing something like this, take it out resonates, but this is, to me, symbolic. So, what I think this is about here is you're about to be handed a big opportunity. Anytime we see you drinking the champagne like this, it's an opportunity that you manifested, you asked for 5 years back and 7 years back. It started about 7 years back, but there was a 2-year period of just nose to the grind, nose to the grind. You may not have even really been thinking about the finish line a lot, but the last 5 years, you're getting closer and closer. Now, the waiter hands you this champagne. It's up to you to drink it, and you are. You are also watching everyone around you dance, which is symbolic of being in a more fluid energy. So if you just made changes to your home or your workspace or your vehicle or whatever it is, maybe you had someone in your space that was toxic and they're gone now. Now we have fluidity. Now we have positive energy, positive people, celebration, right? Uplifting company around you of all kinds, not just the people. But what I find really interesting about this is that as people are coming near you, it's almost like you're getting ready to say something, or you think you're going to have to engage. And then you just sort of are smirking and drinking this champagne and realizing I don't really have to. And I love that, because essentially what this means for you is that you're entering into a period of time, and you may be there for about 6 months even, where you're kind of keeping your cards close to your vest. You're not interacting a whole lot. You're not isolating per se, but you're definitely more introspective, and you're an observer, not an absorber. And so this is a period for you to just sort of study and allow yourself to evolve and allow yourself to celebrate these wins. We have Mackenzie M is next. Mackenzie M, what am I getting for you? I have chains around your ankle and I have someone poking you in the back, and it's like you're trying to go forward. You're trying to run. You're trying to release. You're trying to dance. You're trying to fly. I see you almost like a butterfly, with like perfect wings. So you should be able to go, but because of this trash happening behind you, you really can't. So it's not clipped wings. It's not that there's anything wrong with you, essentially. It's these circumstances that you need to be mindful of. So you may have a male in your life. This could also symbolize someone in a position of either authority or shared resources. Maybe you take it more as a lover. Take it out resonates. There could be multiple people, but they are putting chains around your ankles. And so what butterfly is going to be able to lift off with those delicate wings with chains around your ankles? This person is fearful that you have outgrown them, which you have. They're fearful they can't keep you. They can't possibly bring enough to the table, which they can't. Okay. It's all these realities have hit home, and this person is like holding you back. So be careful of people who are keeping you small, preventing your growth, draining your energy, causing sickness for you, even like, and I can't prescribe diagnose, but like migraines, irritable bowel, sleep disturbances, anxiety, okay, all the things, swollen glands, allergic reactions, even sinus problems, just all of that. And again, because I'm getting this to your left, this has been brewing from your past. This is not brand new. But in the recent past, it does feel like it's coming to a bit of a head where you're recognizing it more. The idea also of having someone jabbing you in the back at the lower level, especially, this can mean that there's some kind of triangulation, gossip, pettiness, backbiting, nasty talk against you. This is, I just keep hearing like shenanigans. This is typically someone you are maybe in a relationship with, or like in-laws. This could also be family, but this could also be work environment. So these are your environments where you are put around the same people on a regular basis, not necessarily because you want to deal with them. They're not necessarily your chosen people, but they are the ones in your environment on a regular basis. Okay, so you're definitely going to be dealing with some of that as well. I think it's just important to remember that, like, it's almost like butterflies have really, I don't even think butterflies have ankles, right? They have legs, right? They must have legs. They have little legs. You just slip those chains right off. Okay, you don't need clippers or a key or someone's permission to come rescue you. Slip out, okay, and take off, and just drop everyone where they belong. We are going to move on to Miami Heat 305-ish, aka Hazel. So Miami Heat 305-ish, Hazel. What am I getting for you? You have a grandmother coming through who puts a like headdress on you. So you may have native roots. This is, I want to say, a sign of leadership for you that you're going to be entering into. It's also her way of reminding you to protect your third eye. And because of the way the feathers are going up, this is also protecting your crown. So we're talking about a couple different things here. As you enter into a greater period of time of leadership, this may activate in the next 4 weeks. She said a dividing line between the 4th and the 5th week. So the 5th week, you're looking back, even as soon as the week prior, and you're saying, this is unrecognizable. Even I myself feel fairly unrecognizable. This is amazing. Certainly something to celebrate, but there's some hard work that's going to have to go with it. You have to readjust, right? Think new level, new devil. There's a free mini class up on my YouTube channel at Ask Ivy called Fighting the Dark, where I talk about every new level, there's a new devil, 5 different ways you come under attack. If anyone has already watched this, please let me know in the comment section if it helped you. We have Fighting the Dark Part 1 and Part 2. Part 2 is for light workers, specifically in healers, which you should watch. Okay, so both of them up there totally free on my YouTube at Ask Ivy. But I think this band, this headdress, it's like I'm getting ready to go out into the world and be a leader, be a healer, do light work, fulfill my life contract, elevate into more of my authentic self, take on these tasks that the universe is sending to me. And this band is to protect your third eye. Now, what happens when you take that off? You still have to protect your third eye, your psychic ability, your clairvoyance. You also, with the crown, which is how you channel. So all of the information coming, from the universe, from spirit, healing energy coming down through you, you really are going to have to learn new skills in guarding that, because unfortunately, when you are a strong channeler, your crown chakra is susceptible to all kinds of energies getting in. No different than mediumship. Mediums love to say, well, I channel angels. I'm just channeling angels. Are you sure? And if you've ever talked to some mediums, it's like, where did you get this information? Who's telling you this? And like, I don't know. It's this creepy guy who's been following me since I was 8 years old. And I used the Ouija board once. There are a lot of red flags out there. And if you don't dig deeper, you'd never know to run. Okay. Be careful. When we're talking about channeling at an elevated level, unfortunately, you do have to pick up new tools, new tricks of the trade to make sure you are exclusively entertaining spirits in the light and eliminating, blocking, never feeding darker or low level spirits. So this is a time of celebration with all of this. It's also a period of greater responsibility, and she is going to be helping you with that. Congratulations. Celine J, what am I getting for you? I have this ambition to run forward. You seem to want to come out of some old, stale, stagnant situations. You want to, I'm hearing, leap into a new beginning. You want to be in more fluid energy where you don't feel like you're pulling teeth or it's start and stop or there are blocks and obstacles and there's drama. You are so ready for this, but there is still a little bit of detoxing that needs to happen from your past. So if you've been trying to manifest things, if you're doing all the work, if you are, saying the mantras, if you're thinking positively and you're wondering, why isn't this coming, or why isn't it coming as fast, or why once it starts is it stalling out as I go forward? Like, why is this happening? That's always the answer in a situation like this, because we can manifest, we can trigger law of attraction, which is going to pick up speed. But first we have to remove the blocks, the obstacles. And in your case, this even looks like a bit of shadow work. So anything that you have needed to change, where boundaries need to better be set, especially with people and especially with your mentality on resources or work, and maybe even workaholism, pushing yourself too hard in certain areas, self-degradation. All of this is up for review. So it's kind of the universe's way of saying, you want to move forward, get rid of this stuff. You seem to hoard things. I see you holding on to all this junk over here like a teddy bear. And that symbolizes a couple different things to me. First of all, you're protecting it. Okay. Or you think that these old ways are protecting you. And it tells me you're comfortable. You're comfortable with it. So you want newness in your life, but you are a little bit addicted to some comfort levels. And I think that understanding, doing more introspective work, not necessarily like with a therapist and but more like shadow work, introspective work, really looking in the mirror and facing yourself in regards to things that you are supposed to cut off or have in the past needed to let go of entirely. And why are they still here? Okay. Then we launch almost immediately. Honestly, it's pretty exciting. Luda K, what do I have for you? I have a bit of an upset stomach and I can't prescribe or diagnose, but I feel like butterflies. I feel jitters. I have to go fix my TikTok because the puzzle button just popped up. But I feel like you have nervous energy. And sometimes with you, I'm going to keep talking. You'll be able to continuously hear me. Hi, Mama. I'm going to step around. Oh, look at the baby. I think that, with you, nervous energy in the stomach, again, I cannot prescribe or diagnose. It can mean that you are overthinking. It can mean that you're stressing because you don't want to accept the answers the universe already gave you. So if you were stressed out about something and you were praying about it and then you worried about it, you negated your prayer. If you were looking for answers and then the universe gave them to you and then you overthought it or you wouldn't do what you were told to do, right? You're negating. Again, not only your manifestation, but like any further action that you could possibly take. So it manifests eventually in the body as tension, headaches, upset stomach. And it is essentially for you, I think, something you've had for a long time where you do tend to worry and overthink so much so that you squelch things. You just kind of strangle the life right out of them, right? And this could be anything from relationships to conversations to potential points of prosperity to gains. I mean, you're just killing this stuff. So, you need to pay more attention to your body. Your body is an alert system for what's going on a mental level. Remember, it starts with our mind, then it goes to our emotions, then it goes to our physical body and our actions. Okay, so a little bit of cleaning up here. Okay, we have any more coming in? Or is this, are we at time we're giving last call? Where are we, Diana? We got another one. Okay. So I'm not doing direct questions, Scotty, but let's see what message we have for Scotty on YouTube. All right, Scotty, what message is coming through for Scotty? I feel like you need to get moving faster. You seem to be distracted with a bunch of stuff that isn't important to you. You have a grandfather coming up behind you and kind of kicking you in the rear end a little bit and like lighting a Bic lighter, like lighting a fire under your ass. So you're caught up in cha-cha that's irrelevant. You're caught up in drama that doesn't matter. You're caught up in things that aren't going to help you elevate. It's almost like you're looking to be rescued. Also, there's this energy of, and you may be like, no, I'm a tough guy. I got it all handled. Do you though? Because there is an energy here of escapism and avoidance, which is like basically waiting for anything to rescue you. This could be porn addiction. This could be overeating. This could be alcohol, drug abuse, maybe not horrifically, but enough to escape your reality. This could be detachment and daydreaming. This could be relationship addiction. This could be literally becoming sort of obsessive with anything so that you can get that sense of being rescued. There's a need right now because you've got a grandmother coming in here too. She may have been a school teacher. I'm not 100% sure she did this professionally, but she seems to have this very stoic disposition about her. She's, I was going to say taller and thinner, but when I look at her, she does not look that tall. I think it's her energy is big. I mean, she comes in a room and she's like huge, but I think that's symbolic of her energy. She has a way of being very no nonsense, very matter of fact. She says, you've been in a bit of a rut for the last 2 years, maybe even 4 total, but it's really 2 years they're concentrating on, and it is time for you to move forward. So I feel like take the blinders off, take off any rose-colored glasses, stop, with the tunnel vision and the hyperfixation on random things in your life, to kind of get through the day and focus on where you want to be, especially with your career, your day-to-day lifestyle, and any changes you may want to make to the residency or investments, because this is prime time for you to be able to level up in all of that. And Esmeralda agrees. Right, Ezzy? Yes, she says. I love you. Let's sit down or get down. Okay, thank you. All right. Next up is Christina H. See, I don't trust her up here anymore because a couple weeks ago, she shut the show down like 3 times. So that wasn't fun for me or anyone else. All right. see where we are. Christina H. Christina H. What do I have for you? Couple different things. You have a lady coming through, watches over you in a maternal way. I want to say grandmother energy, but she's very reserved. She doesn't really say anything. She's watching you. You have a gentleman coming in who's louder. So I want to say that when he comes in to give messages to you or to keep an eye on you, you know, there is a very bold attempt at like sending you music, songs popping in your head, batteries draining, lights flickering, you know, light bulbs burning out, computer systems acting up, your phone going haywire, emojis being sent randomly, like stuff popping up in your images. You're like, where did this come from? Like, I mean, he's very, I want to say vocal in that way, but it's mostly to remind you lately that you have the strength to get to where you're going. You have the tools and you don't need any more. You know, your tool belt is like overflowing, he said, or like you have several tool belts. I get the sense he worked with these tools. So he may have worked with his hands or some type of construction or mechanical stuff, but it looks more like houses and construction, but take it out resonates. Anyways, you know, there's talk of like, what does she need all these tool belts for? I think that you don't fully realize what a power position you're actually in. You may be looking to other people or outside sources to confirm that for you, to give you the go ahead or permission to go forward in elevating in your life, in your day-to-day lifestyle, in your investments, but especially in your career. You know, you just don't seem to see yourself that way. I also think you minimize yourself in relationships. Like you don't fully see your value. You don't see what you bring to the table. You don't see how you're a lifeline for a lot of people. So they just get to drain you. You're doing this in all areas. And when I talk about looking at outside resources, this is what he's referencing, like, what the heck? You've got like 2.5 tool belts here, and you don't even think you have enough to fill one. How long are we going to do this? When you're looking at outside resources, you're looking to banks and institutions, you know, the government, shared income or family income. You're looking at, you know, everything outside of you to sort of support you. You may also be looking for like compliments or reassurance that you're loved, or for someone to reach out to you, which is important. That's valid. People should be reaching out to you, especially considering you keep an eye on them. Okay. But when you're doing all of this exclusively, or you're doing it so much so that you don't recognize your own power, we've got an imbalance going on here. And so he's helping you to realize all of the tools that you have. And so I would expect to hear more messages from him as we're going forward, again, mostly through the technology and the music, sometimes numbers as well. Though you have another gentleman coming in here, feels like paternal energy, who sends you numbers on the clock, number patterns, numbers on license plates. Learn numerology, not angel numbers. That's not a real thing, but actual numerology. Google it. I have a numerology course. Learn that each one of these numbers is directional for where you are or where you're headed. Okay. And with her watching over you, I'm getting the impression that she's giving you energy and she's assisting you in sorting out your thoughts. If you've been having some, she said, friction in the thoughts. Okay. Just helping you to think straight and to think clearly. And then she comes in and gives a lot of love and protection, especially at night, and peace of mind. All right. How beautiful. You're really watched over. Let's move on to Jessica S. For those of you tuning in late, this is the Unbound Sage, where you drop $10 donation and I deliver out to you whatever is the most important message for you to hear right now. If you guys want to do this privately, or if you want to gift a message to someone else, it's a great birthday gift. You can go onto my website, Ivy Rivera Psychic Medium.com, and click on Spirit Message. And you can also go there to book a reading, a party, or a psychic fair with me anytime. I do work internationally. Jessica S., what do we have for you? It's about your tree. It's about you being the tree right now. It's like your totem. Let's say you're very solid. You're very secure. You're very stable. You may be feeling a little bit stuck. You may be feeling like, I want to branch out. not necessarily with my branches and my leaves and the fruit. I want to like pull my roots up out of the ground and I want to walk somewhere else. Like I want to like be a walking tree, So I do get this sense of outgrowing your roots a little bit. I think that while that's worth examining, there's also a substantial amount of work that still needs to be done, especially when we talk about your life contract, meaning what you signed on to before you came to Earth and your current career, the work that you're doing, your day to day. I don't think you've really married all the ideas of what you're here on Earth to do. And it could be creating the sense of like being trapped, entrapment, imprisonment. Also, you may find yourself in work. I heard situations, but I was going to say positions. So take both, but where it feels like you're really good at what you do and people above you know that you're good at what you do. So all that glitters is not gold. It could be getting promotions, people trying to keep you, getting a raise so that you don't leave, backpedaling into other work of the same when you thought you were going to go out and do something different, but it's almost like you don't know how to get from A to B. Okay. And so it's because you're not marrying all these ideas of what you really came to Earth to do. There is supposed to be more independence in your work. There is supposed to be more autonomy. So independent contracting, consultant work, entrepreneurship, business ownership, being able to call the shots, being able to use your skills also in different atmospheres, like moving from place to place. These are all things I honestly feel with you like you could be doing as I look over here to your future, or even currently and probably in your past, but you're not. You're having the urge to do it, but you're not doing the thing. You're saying that either doesn't exist. I wouldn't be good at it. What if it doesn't work? I don't know anyone else who does it. I don't know anything about it. I don't want to pioneer this, but you're not. There are a ton of people who do this type of stuff. I also think you're looking for a real stable route to take where it's like, I have dental, I have medical, I have a paycheck, you know what I mean? But I'm doing conventionally something I really don't either agree with or within the system. It's incredibly, again, prison-like or limited for me. So you are this tree. You do have a lot of health about your roots and your branches and, even what you're growing. I see you entering into a period, though, of starting to, feel as though your roots are kind of dying, and that could lead to diminishing prosperity for you if you aren't willing to expand out. We are going to move on to, is this another Jessica, or is it Jessica G? Christina said, thank you. You are welcome, Christina. Ezzy, do you want to go outside? Let me see if she wants to go out and play, because she's getting a little wild. Hold on. I will be right back. You want to go outside? Come on. You want to go? You want to go outside? I love you. See you in a bit. Okay. Sorry, much better. She wants to live her life. She wants to be inside and outside and all the things at once. I understand. All right. So Jessica G. Jessica, what am I getting for you? Freight train, 180 miles an hour in a forward moving direction. However, this isn't a destiny charted direction. This is a free will direction. So you are sort of, as a totem right now, the freight train. The freight train is about setting boundaries, saying no, moving on, a new chapter, endless chapters, wherever I'm going. I'm not going to worry about the details, but I am going. It is saying to anyone and anything you had previously been investing in that maybe you will let them on your train, but at the next stop, they may have to get off. I don't know what to tell you, but this is where I'm headed. So there is a sort of no tolerance aspect to all of this. This is a power position, no doubt about it. This is an ending for sure. This is you not just saying officially, I am going forward with my life, but literally leaving whatever, whoever you have to, even if emotionally you're having a human experience of saying, yeah, but I invested in that, but I have been giving to that, but I can't leave that behind. It's almost an energy of being cold in a way. I like to think of it just as detachment. Okay, detachment from the emotional aspects of your past and those relationships and those circumstances that you had been giving to. Those were good things. They served in the way that they were meant to when they were meant to. And now this. I feel you being pretty fearless as you go forward in regards to what you're building and creating and investing in. It seems like you're investing a lot in yourself, your appearance, the way you communicate. There's a lot of artistic element here. There's a lot of communication, even with the world, almost like a business aspect or a marketing aspect, or, getting your brand. Like if you were the brand, like being seen for what you have to offer, there's an increase with all of that. You also seem to have some support going with you. It feels like one person in particular who sort of has all of these resources and is stable individual is consistently there, not the kind of person where you have to be like, are they going to be there? I don't know. They were here this week. Will they be here next week because they weren't here a couple weeks ago? Like, da 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 da. There's no questioning. So I like this for you a lot. I do think this is a time when you need to not try to fall back into old patterns of looking too far ahead, because you have a way of getting rolling with things in your life and then all of a sudden being like, well, what if it doesn't work out? Or I don't know 100% guarantee, what the payout is going to be. Like, should I keep going? Maybe I shouldn't. What do I do? Stay out of that. So you want to stay in motion and in fluidity as you step out more and more in blind faith and you continue to build this new life, because again, all of this is in your free will zone. So the universe isn't going to tell you specifically what to do. It's up to you to do. And then the universe will show you the next step. So you are taking some steps out in blind faith. I feel amazing about all of this. It's really the speed that I think is huge for you, because you have been feeling in recent years slow and sluggish and bogged down, or like you're moving, but it's mouse on a wheel energy. Nothing else is moving. Nothing else is growing. Now it's everything grows, everything goes. And this is a major glow up for you. I love this. Okay, congratulations. So we are at time, which means I'm doing the last call. So if anyone else wants to get a message, now is your last chance to drop your $10 donation. And I do want to remind everyone, if we have any feedback here that you want to pop up on the screen, Diana, I can also read off some of people's comments. Jess said, thank you, Ivy. You are welcome. I do want to remind everyone that if you want to book a reading with me or a party, you can go onto my website, Ivy Rivera Psychic Medium.com. And I do work internationally. So most of what I do is over the phone, and I hit all the time zones in availability quite a few actually, because I work here in the States until 3 a.m. Eastern at the regular charge. And then there's a premium rate for hours even after that. Okay. But you can also do a video reading or an email reading. Okay, so these are all options. CJG says, thank you, Ivy. I'm trying to stop giving. Yes, I read this one off earlier. It's so hard because it's part of me. I think that's really one of the messages that I saw tonight that I think is collective for everyone. And it is an important time astrologically and in the current revolution. that we remember to prioritize ourselves and decenter, others and overgiving to others, especially where it's not deserved or it's enabling or, we're interfering with their karma. So that's just a great general message. Final reminder. Okay, so we are at time, so we are going to wrap up the show. The raffle is about to launch on the website probably tonight or tomorrow. So if you want to get a free seat to the Psychic Mediumship course, it is a $2,500 value. You can get, I think it's $5 gets you one ticket and like $20 gets you 5 tickets or something like that. That's going to go up on the website. And you'll get a free ride for the Psychic Mediumship course. I'm only teaching one time in 2026, and it does start in February. So if you want to go ahead and get yourself registered, you can go to psychicmediumshipcourse.com. All right. Thanks for tuning in, everyone. I so appreciate your support. Thank you, Spirit. Thank you, Diana. I will see you guys next Wednesday for my Ask Ivy show. Take care.